my channel. This week I'm bringing you another Cook with G. But before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up so that way we can keep on growing. Now today we are cooking from Snoop Dogg's From Crook to Cook. So I was recently gifted this cookbook from a dear friend of mine, and I was reading through it and I realized something. Snoop Dogg talks a lot about traveling often on tour and seeking out foods that were familiar to him or maybe provoked a memory, which I think is something that is really relatable, and it comes through in all the recipes that he has in his cookbook. So I guess you could say this is my way of saying that no cookbook or recipe is off limits in my Cook with G series. There's always something to be learned from someone who wants to share food that means something to them. So, in the words of Calvin Cortazar Brodus Jr., dogs gotta eat. Okay, our first recipe is the smoothie. The smoothie. Yeah, he's got a smoothie recipe in here. I'm pretty excited about it. So I've got my smoothie cup. He says to use 1 banana. It says sliced. I'm just gonna go with the typical smoothie method of just breaking it off. And then we have 2 cups of spinach. I never measure my spinach, so this will be interesting. All right, 1 cup of spinach going in. Ooh. 2 cups of spinach. Okay, then the next item that he says is coconut water. Again, 2 cups of coconut water. This one measurement kind of makes sense because it affects the thickness and thinness of the smoothie. But let's put 1 cup. The last ingredient is an orange, which is another ingredient that I never put in smoothies. Okay, I'm very much struggling to peel this orange, but it's okay, we are almost there, and then we can get our smoothie blended. He does also say that we can mix it up with pineapple, regular apples, kale, or whatever you got on deck. The point is to get your fuel through the day. Which is one of the reasons why I think I'm bad at smoothies, is because there are so many different combinations and possibilities, and you don't know if it tastes bad until it's blended. I guess that's kind of how baking is. You don't really know how it's going to taste until it's out of the oven and you taste it, but we've got our smoothie. I am nervous. We are very much at the fill. Oh yeah, that water is coming out. This might spill everywhere. All right, let's do it. Okay, as I suspected, we've got some liquid kind of seeping out because I kind of went past the fill line. But I do like my smoothies thin, so that is a plus. And because of all this coconut water, this is definitely going to be very hydrating. Oh my gosh, this is like straight up juice. Like I don't even think I need a straw. Oh, that's pretty good. Wow, if you like want a green juice, or if you like your smoothies super, super thin, that's pretty good. And I do taste the coconut water, so I don't know how well this will age with me. I feel like I could get sick of it because I don't love the taste of coconut water if I have it all the time. The only thing to note is it's not particularly cold because I only refrigerated my orange. Chill your ingredients if you're going to make this smoothie, but I'm gonna put this in the fridge for later because I definitely want it cold. But now we're on to our next recipe. Okay, our next recipe is Eastside cheese quesadillas. So I can relate to this because I grew up eating a lot of cheese quesadillas. It was just something that my mom always said was a good snack, and I still love them to this day. But he likes to jazz them up. He uses 2 different types of cheeses and 2 different types of cheeses. 2 different types of cheeses. I think that's right. He likes to use 2 different types of cheeses, and then he also has a sauce and some extra toppings to make it all fancy. So let's make that. We're starting with 2 tablespoons of butter in our pan. So he says just to melt that until it gets foamy, and then we are going to put our tortilla in. So this is a little less than ½ a cup of cheddar cheese mixed with some Monterey Jack. So I'm excited to have that combo. I don't really remember what type of cheese I would put in a quesadilla growing up, but it was basically whatever we had on hand. So now that it's starting to get a little foamy, it says to kind of like let it crisp up on both sides, right? Wait. Yeah, it says to cook 2 to 3 minutes on both sides, which I never do. I never cook both sides of the tortilla before I add the cheese to let it melt. So that is a bit of a change. I'm also wondering how much of a difference that will make. I know that cooking can be intimidating because there are maybe a lot of steps or there are a bunch of ingredients that you don't have, but it was kind of nice to see something that I was like, wait, this is just like something I've done a ton of times, but elevated, and I can follow some instructions to kind of get it the best possible way that could be, or Snoop Dogg's way. So that was pretty cool. Ooh, okay, I think it's time to Flip it over. Oh, it's like sort of puffing up, so we don't want to get it too. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the cheese. Okay, so let's fold this over the cheese. Oh, that looks great. And we're told to flip it. Oh, she is beautiful. I'm very excited. So I will tell you about the sauce that we're making. So there's kind of just like a spicy, creamy sauce that will be on the side. And I'm also gonna have it with avocado, cilantro, and some lime. But I think this is done. So I'm just gonna turn the heat off and let it stay warm. If you can hear sizzling, it is the quesadilla. But I want to get 8 servings of the dip. So we're gonna do a teaspoon of each ingredient. First is some mayo, and now a teaspoon of sour cream, and a teaspoon plus a little more of sriracha because it had 1 tablespoon more in the original recipe. So we'll just do a little bit more than equal parts. Oh, that looks good. You can see the sauce is just boop. Perfect. I've never really put mayo and sour cream together. I know it's a thing, but it's just like not my instincts. I'm excited to try this. Okay, let's get this quesadilla all jazzed up and then we'll taste it. Okay, we can add our sauce. And the wedge of lime. A little bit of cilantro. Actually, a lot of bit of cilantro. Could use a little more than that. My avocado's a little sad looking. I tried to make it better, so I'm just gonna put a little on the side, but she's not as pretty as she could be. All right, I'm very excited about this. I'm gonna squeeze some lime on top. I don't think this is gonna give me like, you know, childhood memories or anything because mine were never this fancy and a lot of times they were made in the microwave. Let's dip it in. That's a good quesadilla. It's got a little avocado. Also, in classic G fashion, I was in fact rereading the instructions again afterwards. It didn't say to cook the tortilla just plain on each side, although I might have been onto something because this is great. Yeah, it says to cook 2 to 3 minutes on both sides. I just misread it. He was just saying to flip the tortilla when the cheese is in there and melted, which I also did. But basically, next time you're making a quesadilla, try cooking the tortilla a little first and let me know if you think it makes a difference. Yeah, I would make this again. Also, the sauce, delicious. It definitely has a kick, and I know that my ratios were like a little off, but I think the intention was like a little more sriracha than the equivalent parts of mayo and sour cream. I can't really taste like either mayo or sour cream, so it is kind of nice. It's just a creamy, fatty sauce to go with it. Oh yeah, frying in butter. That's also definitely the move. Next time I make a quesadilla, I definitely don't think about what I fry it in, but I feel like the butter definitely made it get more crispy and have a nicer flavor to it. But I would make the sauce again, I'd make the quesadilla again, and we have one more recipe. Okay, our next recipe is Rolls-Royce PB chocolate chip cookies. I'm very excited about this one. However, amidst fully reading the instructions, I have realized I've made a tragic mistake in assuming that I have baking soda, and I in fact have its arch nemesis, baking powder. Now, according to the internet, it says you can triple the baking powder as you would need for baking soda and it should work. You just might need to limit some of the salt. So we're gonna try that, and we are not going to fault Snoop Dogg if these do not turn out well. I will maybe give it another go in another video because hopefully these work, but it is far too late for me to find baking soda and we must cook on. Okay, so we're gonna start with our all-purpose flour. It says add the baking flour, the baking soda, the flour, and the salt, and obviously we are very sadly using baking powder. I should really have my apron on. Actually, ta-da. And we're gonna just mix. Okay, so now let's get our larger bowl. Okay, you wanna start with our 2 sticks of butter, and this is room temperature butter too. And now it's 1/2 cup of light brown sugar and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I've been trying to get this light brown sugar broken down. I've seen like hacks online of like, but like a vanilla bean with it or something. I've done none of them. So it's been my life for the past 10 minutes. Okay, 10 years later, we have 1/2 cup of light packed brown sugar into the bowl. 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And the last ingredient is our beloved peanut butter. So this is also 1/2 cup. So it says to just mix vigorously until it's smooth. Obviously they suggest an electric mixer or hand mixer, but it says a wooden spoon will do just fine. Well, it doesn't say just fine. You can also use a wooden spoon, which is my vehicle of choice. Oh my goodness, this smells so much like peanut butter, obviously because there is half a cup in here. But I'm very excited. If you happen to have ever run into the baking soda, baking powder issue that I have had tonight, please do let me know. What was your solution? Did you just scrap the recipe? Did you call a neighbor? Did you run to the store? Or did you get a little crazy and add 3 times the amount of baking powder? I'm very curious, purely to make myself feel a little better about if these taste bad. I don't think they'll taste bad. I just feel like maybe they're not like gonna be their full potential, but it's an experiment. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, it's time to add our 1 large egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, it's all perfectly mixed together. Now it's time to slowly add in our flour. Oh. Okay, 2 cups chocolate chips going in. Okay, it's time to take our batter, put it on our trays, and get it in the oven. All right, we've got the cookie, and I'm gonna admit, I tried one out of the oven because I was wildly nervous that my little switcheroo was going to, you know, mess everything up, but I'll take a bite on camera and reenact what you missed. Can't even tell the difference. Now, maybe I don't have a developed palate. Maybe I'm, you know, just was really, really hoping for it to work, but I truly can't tell. These are chocolatey and peanut buttery and still warm. I probably should let them cool a little more, but nothing is wrong with that warm chocolate chip cookie. I would truly serve these to someone and not even tell them that I made that switch. I feel like I can't tell that I use baking powder instead of baking soda. But that is not what we are here to review. We are here to say that the cookie is delicious and that we should be putting more peanut butter in our chocolate chip cookies. If you're a peanut butter person like myself, I think that this is a great change up to a classic chocolate chip cookie. They're so gooey, it's like making my mouth. I'm like, The only thing that I will say is that I ended up with a bunch of extra batter. The directions made it kind of seem like they were only supposed to use 2 trays, but it makes 3 dozen, which I feel like would fit on 3 trays. So I just ended up freezing the extra batter that I had, which I think is a good move because this will be nice to have in the freezer anytime that I want to make another chocolate chip peanut butter cookie. Or maybe next time when I make the recipe, I'll use the right ingredients. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any other recipes or cookbooks that you want me to feature in one of my Cook with G's, then be sure to let me know in the comments below and I will check that out. But if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up so that way we can keep on growing. And I will be sure to catch you next time. Bye! My goodness, it's working.